Welcome to another Friday night watch chat. How are you, everyone? What's going on? Bedtime ran a little bit late. Sorry for the delay. I am joined here by my good friend Keith. Keith, how are you? What's going on, man?
I am good. Got back from an event today, and
Yeah.
things have been good and bad. In the last probably 30 days, I spent more on my dog and going to the vet.
Ah, yeah,
It's the equivalent of a very nice watch. So,
yeah.
but
No,
she's doing okay, so that's the best.
well, that's yeah,
Thing.
that's for sure. Look, I mean, like, we have a couple cats, and we took the one cat that we adopted last year to the vet recently. And the vet's like, "Oh, yeah, you might want to, like, her heart, has, like, sounds a little funny. You may want to do like one of these, like, whatever they do, whatever,
Uh,
like, X-ray special sonogram." And it's like $600. I'm like, "Oh man,
uh, did you
cat's
just pick the
fine."
cat up and walk out the door?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, the cat's fine. I mean, there's nothing that they can do. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
yeah.
what am I going to do with that information? Maybe there's some medication. Anyway, let's get past that. What do you have on wrist today?
Oh, on the wrist. Okay, let me take this off. I am wearing my Citizen Silverleaf. It's hard to see in the
Yeah, yeah,
camera.
yeah, yeah.
Japan only release, the blue
Beautiful
dial.
watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny. I was talking to Joey B. He's on the chat this earlier today, and he was like, "I really want to see Keith's watch. Like, I want to see that Citizen." And the dials, it's a beautiful dial
I must say
watch.
a lot of people at Wind Up pointed it out today.
Oh,
Um,
really?
and last year I went wearing my Laurier, no one pointed out besides Laurier themselves.
Sure,
But
sure.
today everyone's asking, like, "What are you wearing?" And the Citizen guy, I just assumed they wouldn't know about it for whatever reason since they don't sell in the US, but he knew right what it was, and he said he had one of them, so
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. So we're gonna get some reporting from you in a little bit about
sure.
Wind Up. Very, very excited to hear that and hear, hear about some of the people you met and some of the brands that you saw. And yeah, I mean, look, I don't know if the guys in Vegas. There's a bunch of guys that we know who are on the chat always and on as panel guests who are in Las Vegas at the moment. And they might be having dinner. I sent them links to the invite. You know, um, I think they have dinner plans like right around now, so that's not good. That's bad for us. But it's also good for us in the sense that they've all are together in one place.
Right.
So I'm hoping that somehow they pop in. And I know a couple guys on the chat now have direct lines to those guys that are having dinner, and hopefully, if you guys can send some texts and be like, "Yo, come on for a little bit. We'd love to know what you guys are doing and what watches have you seen and all that kind of stuff." And I
I'm
still,
gonna make a prediction that it's not gonna happen. That's my prediction.
oh yeah, yeah, probably not, probably not. But I'm just like curious, like, I want to know. The over under was put at 1.5 by Steve Timehell. Watches purchased, right? In this trip. And I bet I'm going over. There's gotta be two people are buying watches. They have to be. Or one person's buying two watches or whatever. Something with all those guys getting together, they're gonna egg each other on, right? Don't you think,
Right.
Keith?
I mean, I think so. I mean, yeah, you get people who are that into watches and that into buying watches. It's something's gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So after we get Keith's take on wind up today, we'll be giving away another bag of straps, NATO straps. Still got to send a couple of winners from last week. I got to send your stuff out. I'm going to send that stuff out over the weekend. This past week was hectic. Kids had no camp, so I was working from home, and the kids were home, and it was just bananas. Anyway, um, look, I teased on the title, Keith, that I have there's a new watch alert, and so I did get a couple watches in. One is really more for the channel, but I think I might keep that for a little while, and that's that Seiko Speed Timer that's solar, with a panda
Okay.
dial, with a four pusher with three pushers in the crown.
Mhm.
Pretty cool watch, and I stuck it on a Seiko Prospects diver strap, rubber strap with like that accordion on the edge, which I'm not a big fan of, but it really, really works with the watch. And I should have brought it down, but I have the watch here that I'm gonna reveal, and some of you guys may already know. I've put some Instagram posts or not, but if not, anyway, it's a rebuy, right?
The
And it's
the classic rebuy.
the classic rebuy, and it's a watch that I surprised myself and many people who like three people who care, right? When
I
I
care.
okay, you care, but I knew I was gonna get it back one day, and it was around the right time, and it is the Black Bay 58. Um, love this watch. Very happy to back it on collection. I threw it on a. I got it on the brown strap,
Mhm.
um, which I really do like. It's way too hot to wear that thing. It's way too
Okay.
hot and humid, and I went out before, and I'm like, "What am I doing?" It's like my s my s my wrist swelled up, and, like, the thing was, like, sticking out. So I got it on this, like, rubber tropical green strap for
Okay.
now. I
I like
ordered
the
a
look of that.
Yeah, it's cool, right? I also ordered an Uncle Seiko bracelet,
Okay.
for it, and it's the Jubilee style bracelet that they make for this. And I went with that because of the new Black Bay 41 Burgundy that came out, and they have the option where you can
Mm.
get it in that bracelet, and so it
Mhm.
looked kinda similar, and I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna give it a shot because this is gonna pretty much be my dress watch too,
So
if
you
the
knew going
occasion."
into it, you weren't gonna have the Tudor bracelet. You didn't
Yeah,
want
yeah,
that?
I
Oh,
knew that.
okay.
I mean, I have nothing. I know people complain about their faux rivets, that's fine, it
No, that
never
looks
really
fine to
bothered
me,
me.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't mind it.
I just felt like that watch always looked better on a leather strap, like that it's not a I mean, I know it's a dive watch, it's not
Mhm.
really a dive watch to me, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
really so
Sure.
it's a dressy diver, so, it looks really great on the brown strap, and, um and whatever, the Uncle Seiko bracelet was like 130 bucks, and then I found like an online coupon and knocked it down in price. So whatever, it's totally gonna be fine. It's totally gonna be fine. So that should be coming in on Monday, and I'm gonna put it on that. Whew, okay. Anyway, um, let's say hello to chat. I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna jump through because we've been on for like 15, well, less than 15 minutes, but eh, I'll start with Bobby. With James. Bobby's gonna have to jump ahead on when the chat starts. Yep. Joey B's wearing the Planet Ocean Night. Good to see you. Hey, Kevin S is here. Justin R is here. Rick is here. Mez9 is here. Steve Time Hill is here. Chaz is here. Wayben is here wearing his Nomos Metro and his new Nomos deploying clasp. Hey, BJ, what's going on here? Maison 1 is here. Good to see you. Um, let's see here. Dogs greater than watches. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they are, right? Right, Keith? I mean, like,
Yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I gotta do what I gotta do.
yeah, yeah. Caliber YQG is
And
here. How you
I
doing?
have no kids, I have no other pets, she's like
Yeah, she's your fur
our
baby, right?
you know, yeah.
Mez Mez9 is here. Maybe Blue Monster is here. Hey, Thomas is here. What's going on, Thomas? Um, Kevin S, you could tell your catch to cut down on fatty foods and try to avoid stress. I don't know what I just jumped into right there, but
Yeah, I
okay.
don't know either.
Underachieving the watch collector. Does it have a chicken on it? No, no. The new watch? No, no, no. Is Bobby in Vegas too? No, I'm not. I'm not in Vegas. Maybe you're thinking of Bobby Watch Medicine. I don't think he's on Vegas either. Uh, oh, who stunk and why was it Islander? Okay, Justin, we're going to save these questions for Keith in a little bit. Joey B loves that citizen. Um, who eats dinner at 6 p.m. on a Friday night? Bunch of senior citizens. Yeah, I mean, Wolfie eats an early dinner. That's what he likes to do. Symphony for Bezel. I like watches. I like the possibility of seeing Drunk Dib more. Yeah. I hope they come on. Let's go here. Anish is here. How you doing, Anish? Paul, what's up? How are you? Um, let's see. Anybody else? Scott, is what you bought HTE Black Bay when you have a sub? Okay, well, there's a long story behind that, Scott, and one day maybe I will tell it. Well, I'll probably tell it soon. Um, thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. Hey, Kelly O'Neill, how you doing, Kelly? What's going on? Good to see you. Um, Navy Blue Monster, did you look at the Forster bracelets for the web? No, I have no idea. I have no idea about Forster bracelets. I'll take a look at them for sure. Um, Diver on a leather strap. Have you no decency, sir? At long last, have you no decency? I don't. I don't have. Thanks. Thanks, Anish. Appreciate it. Um, okay, let's keep on scrolling here. Hey, James, how you doing? Good to see you. He's wearing his blue manta this evening. Okay, let's just jump into it. Let's
Well,
just.
I got one question first. So
Oh
when you
yeah.
got the Black Bay, did you
Yeah.
hear the music again? Did it rekindle an old flame? Like, what did you feel when you got
Oh,
it?
good. Yeah, yeah. I see where you're going. Yeah. Yeah. I did. I did. I.
Okay.
When I looked at it, I just remembered why I loved it in the first place so much, and it's really the snowflake hands. Really did it for me. I just like the warm tones of the watch, um, and it's so much different than the sub for me. I mean, the only thing that is similar to the sub in a sense. I mean, so it's just time only, right? So
Hmm.
no dates, window on this one and on the sub, but I don't know. It just feels like a really nice, handsome watch to have, and
Hmm.
I feel like it's very very versatile. It's every day. It could be a diver because it is a diver, and it could be you could dress it up a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just like that faux vintage look, Keith.
Hmm.
Uh, but with modern, you know, uh, modern parts and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I don't have
Right,
to
right.
worry about,
Yeah, yeah.
a dud on a vintage. So yeah, so the music was definitely there. It just made me remember
Okay.
why I liked it so much. So yeah, yeah,
Good to hear.
yeah. Keith, don't worry, I'm not gonna sell it. I'm
Okay,
gonna keep it
well,
for a while. I'm gonna keep it for a while.
for a while, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Maybe longer, maybe longer. Hey, look, you went to Paul's already starting to ask a question here, and I figured maybe this is as good as time as any to jump
Sure,
into wind up. So let's set the scene. You took off work today, right? I would
I
imagine,
did.
and you went to wind up last year, right? Wind up goes, wind up will be in Chicago. It'll be in New York. It was in San Francisco.
Yeah, this is the
Um,
second year it was in Chicago. So I did the same thing last year. I took the day off work so I could go when it opened on Friday because I figured there'd be less people there.
yeah, yeah. So
Which
so where is it? Where is it in the city?
good question. I don't know. I just go where my GPS tells me to go. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I think I knew at one point, but I can't say for sure, honestly.
Yeah.
It's kind of like off a little by itself. It's not in an area where people are just gonna be walking by and wondering, "Oh, what's going on in there?" and wander in. It's just like, you're there if you've gone, specifically gone to that place. So,
Mm.
oh, Rick is saying West Loop. Okay, I was gonna say something wrong.
Okay.
Rick knows
So
better than I do. This is the last time I was in the city was for this event last year. That's how sad I am.
yeah, yeah. No, no, hey, look, I get it. Like, I mean, like, I'm an hour outside of Manhattan. I'm a little longer than that, a little more than that, and I go to Manhattan now, like maybe 4 or 5 times a year, right? So
Mhm.
I get that. I get that. So is it like in a big like convention center, or is it like in a hotel? Like where?
It's just in
What's
its
the
own
scene look like?
standalone building.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
just on the standalone building. I think it's like a perfect size for the brands that they have there. There's enough room. You're not cramped, but it doesn't feel like, a lot of empty space either. It's a good setup there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So when you walk in, you sign in or whatever. Um,
No sign-in. I just
no
walked
sense.
right in.
Just walk right in. Okay.
And I
I
saw
think
right when I walked in that Laurier was there and no one was at their booth, so I immediately went there.
okay. So um what were you looking to see? Did you have any brands that you besides Laurier? Was there anything else that you wanted to see, and that was a requirement for your visit that today?
Yeah, well, the brand I most wanted to see was Christopher Ward because they've had a lot
Hmm.
of releases since last year. that are interesting. You know, they have the refresh of the Trident, they have the 12, they have the Bel Canto. They have a lot going on, you know, compared to last year. So, you know, you don't get to see that in person at all ever unless you're
Hmm.
going to this event. So,
Yeah.
I was looking, and that's probably the booth I spent the most time at. So, yeah, Christopher Ward,
So,
and
so
then
mhm.
trying to think of any other standouts that I was hoping to see. A lot were returning. You know, like a brand like Raven wasn't there last year. Fears wasn't there last year. I was looking forward to seeing Fears.
Yeah.
So a lot of the ones that weren't there last year, I was noticed wasn't there last year.
Hmm.
So I was looking forward to see the brands I didn't see the year before.
Yeah. Yeah. And then and you got your chance to stop in and say and see Laurier for sure.
Hmm.
And was there so? Did you see anybody? Did you see any like YouTube people
Well,
there? Or,
the funny thing is, um, you might have seen me post about this, but I'm at the Long Island Watch booth, and I'm looking at the Long Island watches, and the guy next to me is talking to Mark from Long Island Watch,
yeah.
and he's saying, "Oh, I really like watching your channel, and I like this channel, and I watch Bobby Legs." So I'm like, what are the chances that I'm standing next to someone who's mentioning the Bobby Legs channel?
Oh
And
man,
it's just it's funny on top of it because
that's funny.
Dib is the Long Island Watch super fan, so it's just like the
Right.
perfect moment to hear the Bobby Legs
Yeah.
name. So if whoever that person was, I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but whoever that
Yeah.
was, if he's in the chat, let us know.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But
But
thought that was funny. Otherwise, YouTubers, I didn't see any.
no, no random Rob. Was there a random Rob sighting? I guess
No random
maybe he wasn't
Rob.
going. No.
Yeah, he wasn't
Mm.
going today. I think he was going starting tomorrow.
Okay.
No YouTubers, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is again probably because it's Friday.
Hmm.
So,
So it seems like Friday's the day to go, right? Because you're not going to
oh
have
yeah.
the yeah. Yeah. Was there any particular watches or brands that really stuck out from what you saw today?
Yeah, I was thinking about this. So when you're inundated with that many watches at once, it just so happens where the watches that stand out are the ones that really stand out on even on their own. Like,
Hmm.
you know, if they have really bright dials or
Yeah.
they're really unique. So when you have like the more subdued, like Laurier type, like classic styling, they
Hmm.
don't stand out as much because there's so many watches. So it's like
Yeah.
when I looked at the Christopher Ward 12, for example, the titanium was really standing out to me, that bright blue. And I'm like, is it standing out because there's so many watches here and that's just like
Hmm.
seems so much more unique, or would I like to have that in, in like in everyday life as well?
Yeah.
Um,
So was it so how did that look that because that titanium the 12 it has like a kind of like I guess you call it like a fume dial, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um w- w- were you tempted by that? Were you say like, "Oh, this is kind of like a watch that I would add to the collection or pick up or
I was tempted. I would say overall, I'm not tempted to buy on the day
mm,
because you could buy that most of that stuff online. But the thing with Christopher Ward is you get to avoid the import duties if you buy
mm.
it there that
Oh
day.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Luckily, that was sold out. Although some of the 12s were there, they're sold out online, but they did have some in stock in
Mhm.
person.
Mhm.
But that was a nice one. The 12, I think, just barely fits me, but it fits me enough to where I could wear it.
Mhm.
But the titanium's really nice, and the titanium metal's a little darker, but it's really hard to tell. Even was comparing them. So I think that I mean I really like that one. That's a good one.
So the chat's doing all the heavy lifting here. They're asking the questions. Keith, which watch made you think about considering purchasing it the most? Which watch?
I would say first of all, there's two watches I would love to have one day that I probably never will. Manasseh always impresses in person. Anyone
Mhm.
that hasn't seen Manasseh and is going to wind up, just there, spend some time with the watches. The cases are impressive, the dials are impressive, the construction is impressive. It's just it's a lot of money for an unknown brand. Um, and then the Bel Canto I really liked. I know
Okay.
that the blue and the green you can't get. They had this rose colored one I really liked.
Oh
I
wow.
looked at that for a long time, but again,
Mhm.
4 grand for that watch. I
Right.
don't know if I'm going to do that. As far as actually purchasing, I really like the 12. I really like the Christopher Ward, like their version of the Explorer 2 they had there. I really
Mhm,
enjoyed that.
mhm.
Those 2 stuck out to me. I'm trying to think. I imagine I'm gonna buy a Laurier. I really like the Formex, 39 Essence red dial. I was curious to see what that red dial looked in person.
Okay,
I
okay.
think it's the perfect red for me. It's not bright. It does get that way sometimes with direct light, but it's a really cool burgundy. I think they call it wine or something like that. It might even be a better red than my Ming burgundy because that Ming burgundy is pretty dark. That really stood out to me. Um, Formex has some watches coming out soon that might be more for me than that one. They'll release the Malachite dial again
Right.
and possible other limited coming out. That's the thing. Talking to the brands, you get them to admit some stuff that's coming out. Christopher Ward was like, "Hey, we got the 3612 coming out." And I said, "Oh, what colors?" They said 2 of the current model and 2 new ones. And I said, "What are the 2 new colors?" And they said, "I can't really tell." And then I asked another question. They're like, "Okay, it's this and that." You know?
Right, right, right. So
But yeah,
this
that
is the
red
one you're
one's
talking
very
about.
nice. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
okay. I like
Yeah, that's a
Formex.
good
I
one.
mean,
And that
I
39
yeah,
is size is perfect for me.
yeah, yeah. Would you
Um,
do the bracelet or would you do a strap?
I would do bracelet, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if it doesn't work out for whatever reason, I could just buy a strap afterwards.
Right, and those are like really easy, quick changing. You could take the
Yeah.
bracelet off that. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
Formex really does like make a good watch. I had the GMT, the Reef GMT,
Mhm.
for a little while there. And I really like that watch. That may be a rebuy at one point too. I seem to always sell the watches that I really like for some reason, very stupidly. But anyway,
I know
I
some
just like yeah.
I was to
Sorry.
say some guys in the chat like that cool gray 43 Essence. They said they're only making what's on in stock and they're not making any more of that. So jump on that.
Oh,
You know
really?
who you are. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know which watch, that is, the 43, but
Yeah, so the
it's
cool gray in the Leggera, that's a consistent one, but yeah, the steel one, I think they say 25 is left on the website maybe, and they said they're not making more of that.
yeah, I think this is it here, right? The limited series cool gray 43. I
Yeah.
think this is the one,
Um,
yeah. 25 pieces are available to ship right now. Yeah,
Formex
no,
has
that's
discovered that limited edition sell, I think. They had an announcement a couple days ago of the bright dial, a bunch of bright dial colors that are limited. They have the malachite that's limited. It's limited after limited after limited for Formex. So I think they found something that works for them that sells some watches. So
yeah, Chad saying Keith is a Rolex guy at heart, 36 two-tone one day, book it. Um, yeah, Keith was dropping some news there. Um, oh, thanks for the super chat there, Thomas. Keith, which watch were you put off by the most?
ugh,
Ooh, tough question
I,
here.
I feel bad saying this because
Do it.
the brand was so nice to me and they were so great to talk to. It's not just to put off. It's just I don't get it. Let me see. Let me pull up a picture really quick
Yeah, yeah.
um, to remember the name because it's a new brand. I feel bad doing this. It's a new brand. They're called Wolter, Wolter. Very nice from Nashville. They're coming out with their second watch. Now this probably won't show that well, especially because it's a white dial.
I'll
And
pull it up.
it's an okay looking field type watch. But in this day and age, when there's so many brands, yeah, when there's so many brands out there that already have similar type watches, it's pretty simple. I'm not saying it's bad looking, but how do you compete with the already established brands? And I'm not talking about
Yeah,
already established bigger brands, but already established micro brands even. W- I just didn't get what should draw me to the watch.
yeah,
So it was fun to talk to them. It was good to look at the watch. I just don't get it. There's something I'm missing with this one.
yeah,
Is that my
and I
least
think
favorite overall? Maybe
mm,
not, but that just stood out to me.
and I think it goes to the further discussion of whether it's first of all, is this the micro brand watch market is overly saturated? I think it is. I think there's too many micro brands, too many choices, and it's kind of one of those things where if you weren't like in the first wave of micro brands, like it's really so hard to succeed. Like if you're not in that first wave of micro brands that came out a few years ago,
Mhm.
like it's hard to just compete, right? I mean, like what
Right.
sells is like dive watches that are similar looking to roll to Submariners, right? And it's already been done a million times over by every single micro brand practically, right? And
Mhm.
so it's so difficult. And like then begs the question, like, are is the age of the micro brand dead? I mean, like, sure, there's still people who will buy micro brand watches who feel like they're getting great value for their buck. But
Mhm.
to me, like, like I mean, there's very few micro brands that I would ever consider going forward. And the likelihood of me buying a micro brand watch, maybe a Formex, maybe I would go back and buy a Formex, but the likelihood in the future of me buying something that's a micro brand right now is probably almost
Right.
no.
Yeah, I mean, Formex is different. I can't speak to Walter, but Formex is different. They do a lot of the stuff themselves, dials, bracelets. It's just completely different. I mean, they're not, you know, it's just more. They're doing a lot of the heavy lifting,
Yeah,
Formex for their own watches. So, and they come out with a bunch of stuff that's so unique to Formex only.
yeah,
It's just not a. I'm trying to think of like a newer in the last couple years, maybe 2 or 3 years micro brand that really went big. I'm drawing a blank right now.
yeah. I'm drawing a blank on it too because I don't know when they come out. You know what I mean? They all
Mhm.
feel like they also seem to be the same to me. Like look, I mean, I
Right.
think there's some brands like that have been some Phoenix brands that have come out that are very interesting, right? You saw
Mhm.
Fears today. I mean, like what did you think of what they had to offer?
I like the watch. It was great talking to Nicholas. We talked for a little while. I like the watch. And he did warn me that the price will be going up. I think I could have sworn he said $400 to $500
It's
US.
crazy. It's crazy.
So I think the price is the biggest turnoff of that brand, even
Yep.
though I do like the watch. Um, I was glad, I was looking forward to trying them, and I love the color of that copper. I
Yeah.
don't know if they call it copper or salmon or whatever they call that dial.
hmm
That'd be the one I'd go for.
The Brunswick and
Uh,
copper or whatever it is.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean I
Um,
had that watching for review. It's a good looking watch, but I mean like the price point, it's like it's over $3,000. I mean, that's just crazy.
mhm, mhm.
I guess people buy it. Um,
Let me. This is how classy he is. So when I went to go try on the watch, he switched out the strap for a smaller strap because he noticed my wrists were smaller. I mean, that's the kind of. It's like,
he's a pro.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's a definite pro, and just
Yeah.
talking to him, it makes you want to buy a watch.
Yeah,
You
you're
know.
because well, that's the thing. You're buying the story with Fears, right? That's why I guess people are willing to pay probably more than what the watch. Man, look, I mean, if people are paying it, then I guess it's worth what they're selling it for. I
Hmm.
don't know. I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around it, and that's not necessarily an indictment on the brand or any of these brands. It's maybe I'm just not capable of like understanding, and maybe that's just my fault. But I'm just still having a hard time, like for like 3 grand to 3,500, when there's so many other established brands with history, with far more greater history than that you can pick up. You know what I mean? And something
Hmm.
that you can send to get serviced, and get serviced by a team of watchmakers, or just like having the be a brand being backed up by a conglomerate, which I don't know. I'm still struggling. I'm still struggling. Maybe I'll come around one day.
Yeah, to
Um,
me, history isn't as important, but
mm,
I still want to feel like the brand is going to be around for a while.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And
I
and
agree
you
with that.
and I could tell they're in it for the long haul. And if I
Yeah.
can't tell that, then some
Mm,
brands I'll give a few more years maybe before I buy one of their watches or something like
yeah.
that. But yeah, it's a tough sell. I would love to know, like a brand like Manasseh, their watches are very very nice, but expensive. how many do they sell in a year? Is it
Uh,
enough to sustain? Should I be worrying about them? Like, I'm always curious
yeah.
about how many watches they're selling,
I,
you know?
I'm no expert on Manasseh, but I think a lot of their probably their base, their customers are based in Japan. I saw them last year in Wind Up, and I guess I didn't have as strong of a reaction as you did today.
Okay.
Um, I've always seen I've seen pictures of them, before I saw it last year, and was like, okay, it's interesting. Case construction is interesting. The crystals are interesting, the way they shape them. And then when I saw them in person, maybe it was just like the models that they just had. Maybe they didn't have everything there,
Mhm.
but I wasn't really that impressed. And then the price
Mm.
point was just like bananas. But it,
I
it
mean,
it's a
it could
yeah,
be
go ahead.
that the fact that they're the highest price watch there,
Yeah,
and you're comparing them in that same day with more affordable watches.
could be.
Maybe that's
Yeah,
going on in my
yeah.
head too. I don't know.
I think there's some truth to that. Dib saying, "What is this guy?" Look, Dib's on the chat. I saw Amin on the chat. I saw Wilson on the chat. I mean, the Vegas guys have half of those guys are in Vegas. Though I sent Amin. I mean, I sent Wolfie the link. I sent Dib the invite. I mean, are you guys? Is it dessert time? I mean, come on, just pop in, would you? We'll love to
They
see you.
can't be done already for what is it? What time is it in Vegas? 6:30? Like they
Yeah, I
can't be
think.
in for the night already. So
Yeah, well, I mean, Wolfie might be, you know what I mean? So like Wolfie might be working on the cigar now because he likes to have his dinner really, really early. Um, James is saying Walter looks like it is trying to be every watch. Yeah, Paul saturated, but always gems to be found. Sure, I'm just tired of looking. It's just so much to sift through, in regards to micro brands before you find the one.
like I
The
would buy
people,
an Oak and Oscar over that Walter.
gotcha.
They are a
Yeah, yeah,
Chicago
yeah.
brand. I like the design better. I think they're doing some cool things.
Wolfie is surprisingly resistant. Okay, maybe Wolfie doesn't want to come on. That's fine.
Mm.
That's fine. Okay. Um, the Fears Brunswick Salmon Dial is a really nice looking watch, and let's pull it up. Again, um, I've reviewed this watch,
I
and
think I've watched that
I
a couple times because I was heavily considering Fears at one point.
yeah, and look, I mean, like it's a nice watch. It's again for me, it's the price point is a little tough. Um, it's a 3,000 excluding VAT. Um, the dial is very very interesting. That brushed dial was really cool. The skeleton hands. I know there's something about the skeleton hands in the description, how it's done. Um, cushion case. I mean, I don't know. It's just a lot of money, man. A lot of money.
Yeah. The dial stands out so much, it kind of actually takes away. I know there's a lot of he talks about a lot of the finishing that goes into the indices and the hands,
Yep.
but the dial is
Yep.
so vibrant, you kind of like lose that.
Yeah.
Like there, everything just looks black, but it's not. Those are blued
Mm,
hands, but you can't really tell they're
exactly.
blued.
Yeah. And look, and there's some depth to those indices too, right? They pop off um the
Hmm.
dial so that there's like a almost like a three-dimensional feel to them, which is kind of cool. Um, I don't know, maybe it is worth $3,000. I don't know. But it's still like generally stylistically, it's not for me. Um,
Yeah, I've said this before, but Fair has a cushion case watch that looks
mm,
somewhat
mhm,
similar to that for about a third of the price, and that was
mhm.
really nice. I saw that today. I'd probably do that, over the Fears. I'm
Yeah.
sure, if they were equal price, I'd get the Fears.
I like
Um,
some of the Ferris chronographs that they've been coming out with lately. I think they look cool. I tend to be Maison saying I tend to be quite wary of micro brands. I know the entry cost is low, but I don't want to end up with dozens of them. I'd rather save my money for something worthwhile and established. Um, Paul said I saw them last year and sincerely thought they were $500 watches. They are not well finished. I'm not sure who he's talking about. I don't know if he's talking about
I think
Fears or
he's
not.
talking about Fears. I think he's
Okay.
talking about Fears.
I want to put in. I want to put the guy who owns Fears in my shirt pocket. Is that weird?
We actually talked about custom shirts because he's mentioned that on a live stream one time. I have a hard time getting my fit down right, so talk. He goes so much higher in place that I get my shirts from. So
Yeah. If people only bought brands with history, no new brands would ever displace old ones. It's going to happen. I think the end game for a lot of independent brands is getting bought. So, right, Scott. Having said that, then I have to be very, 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 very picky about a brand that doesn't have much history. Um, you know what I mean? So, like, at least, like, with an Omega or like even like a Zen, like, I know what I'm getting, right? And but with like something like a Fears, like I really don't know necessarily what I'm getting, right? Or some of these other micro brands. So therefore, I scrutinize these brands even more if I'm going to add it to my collection. Does that make sense?
hmm
I don't know if it does.
yeah, I mean, I'm
Uh,
really interested in micro brands. I love
mhm.
seeing them. I like to own a bunch. But if you look at my collection, what do I own? Citizen, Seiko, Hamilton, Casio.
Mm.
The
Yeah,
only newer brand I own is Ming.
right.
Um,
And that has a truly unique kind of look to itself as well. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like, and
for
and
sure.
and that's a very sought after brand when
Yeah,
their
because
releases come out.
walking around the fair, like I went to a brand that I don't remember the name of, and it's like they have standard dive watches. So I said, "Oh, I'm not familiar." I always say, "Oh, I'm not familiar with your brand," and they kind of talk about the brand, but it's like it's another same looking dive watch that all the other brands have.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope I wish them well, but how do you fit in with a
It's
watches
tough.
like that?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. And like, and trying to do something different, well, that costs money, right? I mean, like if
hmm
you want something that's kind of like a different design, something that's going to separate yourself, that there's money, there's research, there's the R&D into that, and a lot of these brands can't really afford that when you're
hmm
starting out. So it's I don't know how they do it either. I don't know how you get into this game now at this point with so many micro
hmm
brands out there.
Yeah, I mean, talking to Raven, they don't make a lot of watches. Like they'll come out with a type of watch, and then maybe they'll make 25 or 50 of them. And it'll take, like I mentioned, they have like a full gold watch that they recently sold out of. He said, I think they had 25 of them. It was in stock for like maybe they made 50 originally. I can't remember, and he had 20 left, and it was in stock for 6 months. And
Hmm.
what sold it was James Stacy did an article about it, not on Hodinky, but on another website, and they immediately sold out. And talking to other brand, I mean, that's what does it. Like that's what I
Hmm.
asked Anne Dane, how did you like I felt like you became popular all of a sudden. They said Teddy Baldessar did a video and that's
Mm.
and now you can't get one until 2027. I mean, it's just the
Amazing.
power of
Mm.
YouTube, the power of media is
Yeah.
what's going to sell your watch. And it could sell a watch that might look like a bunch of other ones, but then how do you get eyeballs on your product? You either got to have money to pay YouTubers, you got to have I don't know. I don't know what the it's probably the $1 million question, but
Yeah, I think you're onto something. I think that's how they have to like get their brand out. And what's an easy way to do that? They offer a free watch to some YouTuber, and hopefully they get a positive review. You know.
yeah, I was talking to I don't know if they care that I talk about this, but and they told me, so whatever. But I was talking to Laurier and I said, I'm
Hmm.
surprised Just One More Watch has never reviewed your watch
Hmm.
because he specializes in micro brands under $500. You think
Yeah.
you would have reviewed 3 of them by now. And
Yeah.
he said that we tried to work with them. He wanted to keep the watch and we didn't like that. So he never reviewed one
That,
of our watches.
that's interesting because just one more watch. I mean, like he has such a huge following. You know what I mean? Um, why not just give him the watch?
Yeah, I think they were saying that they're very particular who they work with.
Okay.
And I think some brands like them take a stand where we don't want to pay for fake reviews. Basically, we want our
Yeah.
brand to
I
stand on its own, and we
sure.
want to make sure
Uh,
and Jody can pick up a watch Lori anytime and review it if he wants
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, they said that they're just very particular who they work with.
No, I mean that's commendable. But if I was a brand, um, trying to, get the word out. I would seriously, I mean, look, I don't take free watches. I don't review anybody. Nobody sends me watches because I
Mhm.
don't pursue that. That's just a choice that I make. I just review the watches that I buy, or that people, my friends, or people from who watch the show send in for review. Um, but if I was a brand, I mean, like I would to a guy who has a couple 100,000 people following, like he does a review, and he's probably got like at least like a couple hundred people buying a watch out of
Mhm.
like a couple 100,000. Like let's think of like a tenth of a percent. If a tenth of a percent of 200,000, I think that's 200. That's 200 people.
Mhm.
That's a lot of sales for a micro brand.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah, I'm not
I can
saying
get
I
it.
wouldn't do it if I was a micro brand, so
Yeah.
but I appreciate, the brands that are like that, so
Hmm. Um, I don't understand why people buy Oris and they have a history. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe others are well finished. Maybe that was a pre-production, but I didn't get it. Price was shocking. Call it, I see it. No skin in the game. Fears doesn't do much for Navy Blue Monster. Maybe different hands. Thomas is saying, I think it's really healthy for newer brands to exist and bring out their watches. There are some nice different designs that come out. The price points are validated sometimes. Um, Paul's saying there wouldn't be so many if they didn't make money. Yeah, I mean, I guess they're making money. More cynical, Shenzhen made crap with god awful story about saving puppies from a tree for some.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, some brands are a full-time job and some brands are a side hustle. The side hustles can afford to just buy a
Yep.
few of them and let them sit out there and hopefully someone buys one. But if you're a brand where that's what you do, you gotta sell some
Yeah.
watches.
Yep. Hey, Jason, Design Atelier. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for the support. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate it, man. Uh, were Isotope watches at Wind Up Keith? I saw them at a show recently, and they made some nice divers with Landering movements and enamel dials for under 1,000 pounds. Does that ring
Does
a
not sound familiar to me.
um, big wrist? I have turned a brand deal. I turned down a brand deal last year. I only review watches I buy or I'm about to buy. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you there, big wrist. Um, let's take a quick little break and let's do this little giveaway. Keith, how do you feel about that?
Oh, sure.
Let me just pull up the link. And so, if you guys remember last week, we did the little giveaway here, and I create a hashtag, and then you guys, if you're interested, I got 5 NATO straps here. Um, just type in the hashtag and whatever text comes after it that I put up here in the chat. Uh, Keith, what do you think? What should a hashtag be?
Uh,
I put you on the spot.
hashtag, I don't know, NATO crazy. I don't know. Oh, they're all NATOs,
NATO.
right?
Huh? Yeah, the
They're
naked.
all
Yep,
NATOs. Yeah.
NATO crazy. I like that. All right. So we'll start collecting some entries, and we'll give that a few minutes. Um, Keith, Steve here saying lots of action in Vegas, bro. Yeah, yeah. I think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna come on, but that's okay. That's okay.
I wish
Um,
I was there. It was
I
a
wish I was
terrible
there.
weekend
I,
for
I
me to
was
be there.
I was talking to some of the guys earlier, and I was like, oh man, I wish I was there, man. Just to like hang out and just
Mhm.
try on different watches. And I've never been to Vegas. Have you been to Vegas, Keith?
I got married in Vegas. That's the one time I've been there.
Oh, nice, nice. Did you do any watch shopping while you were there, or were you not into
No,
watches at
no, it
that
was
point?
way before, that was 11, 12 years ago, so way before I was into watches.
Oh wow, you've been married for like 12 years?
Yep.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay, cool. Um, Commendable guys. I am too broke to just review stuff I could buy. I'm happy to keep some and watch. Hey, and Jason, there's no judgment here. You know what I mean? We're not just. It's just like I just that's just my personal choice not to do that. And you do you, and that's totally good. no judgment. I get it. I, your kind of production on your videos, man. I mean, like you should, if you don't do that professionally, I think you might. You should get paid for doing what you're doing because your videos. And if you guys haven't had a chance to check out Jason's channel, Design Atelier, he does an amazing work with editing, great content, and and he's on the up and up with subscribers and growing pretty wild. Um, did did Keith get married when he was 16?
I appreciate that. I think you think I'm much younger than I am.
Yeah. Jason does great work. He sure does. Okay, so if you guys are all set, we'll run the giveaway now. I got 13 entries, and the winner is Mr. Casio. Steve, congratulations, Steve. I think I have your address already, and I'll be sending you some of these straps. And guys, if you didn't win, next week I'll be giving away more straps. I'm going to be giving away. I have so many straps. I have so many straps. I'm really grateful that I have some great supporters of the channel and subscribers and friends who just send stuff to give away. And if anybody has anything they want to give away, if you have an old watch that you want to give away, or some straps that you no longer want, or anything watch related, you can reach out to me, and I can give those away online, like we're doing right now on the stream. Um, let's see here. Let's finish up with some comments. Romy 360. I think the golden age of micro brands are over. Not that there are not great micros out there, or will be in the future. So this is how I'm kind of feeling, Keith. Do you think, like, I mean, is it just going to be? Are they just going to be more and more micro brands coming out, or like are people going to be figuring out that it's just too crazy,
Yeah,
and we'll see it fewer and fewer? I don't know.
yeah, I don't see how it's possible. I think like I feel like, 2015, 16, 17, 18, like that was kind of like when micro brands really became a thing and they were
Yeah,
newer.
yeah.
If Laurier were to start today, how would they do? I don't know. But they're a little more unique, it was smaller, more classically styled at a
Mm-hmm.
more affordable price. It was before the Black Bay 50, a little before the Black Bay 58
Yeah,
came out, and it was a little more unique then. Yeah, it'd be tough.
yeah. And I'm seeing, and I think maybe it's just a product of the times with inflation, supply chain, etc. That some of these prices on these micros, they're going up. The prices are
Hmm.
going up on these micros, so it's crazy. Thomas with another super chat. Thank you, Thomas. Keith, was there anything you saw and you would seriously consider buying in the future?
Yeah, I guess those Christopher 12 and a Fierce Essence 39.
Hmm.
Nothing. I'm trying to think of something I saw today that I wasn't expecting to want, because those I knew I liked already going into it,
Yeah,
or I would
yeah,
like, but I
yeah,
can't think of anything that like I just never heard about and it really surprised me, like Manasa did last year or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Trying to think, like last year when I went, I mean, I ended up buying. I knew that I was gonna like, and I knew Formex was gonna be there, and I knew I was gonna like that Reef GMT. I really knew I was gonna like it, and then when I saw it, I was like, "No, just here,
Yeah.
ring me up," and I bought it there. Um, I remember seeing Vertex there, and at the time I had
Mm.
that Vertex Field Watch, and I was really curious to see they had just come out with a chrono, and I really liked it. Again, the price point was bananas. It was like around $3,000 or $4,000, and I was like, oh man, that's a lot of money.
Mhm.
Um, there's a lot of chronos probably with the same specs for that price, but like I don't know. It just seemed a lot, and I liked what I saw. I liked what I saw there. I tell you what, I was disappointed with the with Anardane. Anardane was there last year, but they didn't have much of a
Mm.
selection, right? Because I think they were probably at that time still selling a lot of watches, so they didn't really have much for me to see. although I've had two Anardane in the channel to review and was very impressed with those watches, what I saw from them, and that's because maybe they just didn't have any inventory, um, was that wasn't really that impressive. I got a sneak peek of the Bel Canto last year, like they
Oh yeah,
weren't,
yeah.
and that was really really cool. I like that. Um, and I'm just trying to think of any other kind of brands that
Yeah,
were
this
there. Yeah,
I don't know the name of the line, but this is the Anardane that was on Teddy Baldessar's
yeah, 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 yeah.
channel. And that line, there's like four watches that kind of
Mm-hmm.
had like the shimmery dial. I really
Mm-hmm.
like those. The other ones
Yeah,
I could take or leave, but those are really nice.
yeah.
But
But
2027 for a wait for that, holy cow.
and not only that too, the pricing is going up and up on this. Now,
Mm,
look, I mean, it's a hard process, right? There's not too many people, not too many brands at that price point who are doing those kind of enamel dials. I mean, I know Seiko has some enamel dial dress pieces that are in the thousand, between 1,000 and 2,000 range, starting anyway. But other than that, there's not too many pieces that I know of brands that are doing that. So I get it, but now like those prices, like even people are trying to monetize that on the secondary market. You've seen some Anardanes on Delray, and they're asking for like $6,000 or $7,000. They're still sitting there. They're still sitting there,
hmm
but people I think they feel like they can get a lot more out of that in the secondary. I've known some people who've sold some Anardanes in the secondary and done really really well, but not like 5, 6, $7,000 well. Um,
hmm
but I'm just trying to. I mean, like the all the usual suspects were there when I went. And like I said, Formex, the Belcanto, um, Zodiac was there, but was Zodiac there this year?
They were there. Yeah, their
Yeah,
watches don't do much for me. I
yeah, they
mean,
don't do much for
they're
me
nice.
either.
They're fine.
The more of the vintage stuff I like, but
Okay.
their kind of modern stuff is not really doing anything for me. And then there was just just a lot of brands. I mean, the problem with last year's wind up, right, was that I was coming off of watch time, like literally
hmm
that day. Like I walked over, Amin and my friend Ryan and we walked from where watch time was to wind up, and it's just like different levels, right? Different levels,
Right,
and
right.
not judging either one. You know
You
what I
should have
mean?
done
But
the
like
opposite.
I probably should have done. Right, right. I should have done the opposite because we came from seeing ALS, Breguet, Armstrong,
Chapek and
Chapek, yeah, yeah, RGM, and I'm leaving out many names, right? And then going and seeing this, it's not that it was a letdown. I knew what I was expecting, but like I was coming from a
but you still
different
bought a
angle.
Formex.
I still bought a Formex. I was still impressed with the Formex. Maybe it was an angry buy because I couldn't afford a Breguet.
Or
Um,
maybe Beans did did the
Beans,
sale, you know?
I met Beans in person. Great guy, great guy. I mean, like Dib always talked him up. He's like, oh, he's a great guy. He's one of my good friends. He's a great guy, and he was a great guy. We had a great time talking. He recognized me, and I recognized him. Well, I mean, I just knew that was him working in the performance desk, and yeah, we had a good time. We had a good time. Um, Keith is strongly considering thinking about buying several watches.
You know, a different topic of watch I really like, that 62 Mott's reissue. That's a good looking watch right there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The one that
I
just
feel
came
like that
out.
was made for me.
Yeah. Um, Paul was also there at Wind Up last year. He said Formex, Laco, Minaze, CW, and a few others were excellent when I went last fall. Um, a great bargain chrono is a Tissot PRX. I agree. I agree. I mean, I like the way it looks. It's got a Valjoux. I believe it's got a Valjoux 7750. I mean, I think, it's a good looking piece. Um, see here. If you're talking about the watch's specs, you're probably going to flip that watch. The keepers are the ones you have to convince yourself you want. Um, hey, thanks, okay. Yeah, let's give a thumbs up. Mining in enamel in Scotland takes time. You had a great line. I'm only thinking that line because I know Chaz was had his name down for one of these, and
Oh yeah.
there was some issues with the batch. of dials that he was waiting for, and
Well,
I think
they
he
couldn't do the dial that they said they could do,
right,
and it
right,
was
right, right. So he got his money back. But you had a great line the other day or a couple of weeks ago. I heard you say, "Is like the worst thing brands can do is give you enough time to back out."
yeah.
I thought, and I still, I thought that was one of the best lines I've heard in a long time.
Yeah,
Um,
the bel canto, that's a year wait, if you order now, and they said, "Oh, if you change your mind in the meantime, that's fine," but there's
mhm.
no way I would order an Anordane for 2027 and not want something else in the meantime,
Of
but
course, yeah. I mean, that's just that's 4 years from now. That's crazy. Those Energy Model 1 for me watches are beautiful. Trying to get one on the waiting list for one at the moment. Yeah, Tom. So I guess you could set it and forget it, right? And hopefully one day in a couple years from now, you get that call. I don't know. I feel like my tastes change so quickly
mhm,
that what I'm interested in now may not be what I'm interested in 2027. And then
mhm,
having that money sit somewhere, not in my pocket, whatever deposit is, and for that long, you know, kind of bothers me a little bit.
mhm.
And that's the bean symbol from Chaz. Well, Keith, man, thanks for coming on and giving us your thoughts on wind up this this year. I really appreciate it. Love having you on, man. You're a great co-host, and
Great to be on.
you
Thanks for
know,
having me.
maybe we have your people talk to my people, and we'll make this more of
Okay.
a thing. Okay, okay,
We'll see
okay.
if we can
Chat.
make it happen.
Yeah, we'll see. Chad, thanks again. Hey, I'm sorry. I mean, try to get the guys from Vegas to call in, but it looks like that didn't happen. They're enjoying their meals. Hopefully, they'll buy some watches, and next week we can talk about it. Get like do a little autopsy of the Vegas trip next week. That'll be a lot of fun. And see you guys on Sunday for another episode of Watch Soup with Watchdog Clayton, Sanjay from the Engineer Wannabe channel, and myself at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys then. Take care.
Bye.